Hi, welcome to 10-minute book reviews. I'm 10.
I'm annoyed.
Hi, 2. How are you? How are you doing?
You heard me say I was annoyed.
2. So, this week's book review is on T.C. Boyle's The Terranauts.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so- Oh my god! I'm sorry! Act like you know!
Oh god. you know what?
No! I don't know what. I know we're supposed to be doing a book review. Okay.
Oh my
The
god.
Terranauts.
Oh god.
So, each video we start out with a star point, like a grade, and a rating for it. If it was in like a movie or something. Ooh, goodies, stay for you. Ooh, ooh.
Right.
So,
If anything, this book review is between a 7 and a 10.
7.
I give it a 7.
I'm gonna lean on her 7. I was gonna say 10, but I'm leaning on her 7.
And there's for good reason, because of things that are actually portrayed in the book that we don't feel comfortable with.
Did you want to say it? Or do you want me to say it? Or
By all means.
okay, so it would be a 10 for the way that the author tells the story. He has 3 major voices, about 4 secondary or sub voices. So about 7 voices in all. He differentiates between each one of them to the extent where if you flip through the book, like you got lost or something, you could actually tell who's talking just by the way that they use their words, just by their vernacular. Also, he does a very good job at scene building. You see a definitive difference between the world that the Terranauts live in and the world that everyone else lives in. Also, he does a very good job at spatial differentials? Space differentials. Or I should say time differentials, which means you can see by the way that he writes, even before it's mentioned, that the actions taking place are past actions. They're not currently going on. So for that, like, he really did a really good job. It's a really easy book to follow. You don't have to be like, huh, what? What does he mean? What's going on? No, it's easy to follow. But the 7 part, what knocks it down to a 7 is the fact that there's language in it. Now, it's not an abundant amount of language. You're not, hearing like F this or any craziness like that every couple of words or every couple of pages. But the language is there. And sometimes I feel it's gratuitous, but maybe it's not, because I've never been a 30-year-old man before.
You don't have to be to still feel like, why you talk like that.
Yeah, and it's not like heavy. It's not like, someone's cursing every other word. It's not like heavy. But it did bring it down for, I guess, both of us. That's why you said 7 too, right? And then there's sex in it. So the sex isn't heavy. Like, it's not heavily described or heavily explained. It's kind of just mentioned that this is happening with so-and-so and such, kind of. It's more... Keep in mind, the way the book is written from the viewpoint of each person. And so, like, if you were talking about your love life, per se, to someone you weren't particularly close with, but you had to discuss this kind of thing with, how you wouldn't particularly, most people wouldn't particularly give details. They'd probably just say, hey, I was with so-and-so. And
unless they're one of those kind of people.
We're going to imagine you're not one of those people. Or you'd probably be on a cam right now doing your own thing and not watching us.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? But yes, so it's written like that. So it's not heavily laced with sex, but I can see if this was ever a movie, it could be turned that way. So that's what brought it to a 7 for us. And for a rating, in book form only, I would say this is a PG-13, because once again, it's not heavy in any of the things. There's no violence. Like, I think Ramsey had a fight with somebody, but it was such a silly fight. Like, it wasn't graphic in any way. It's like, oh my god, I fell, he punched me. Oh my, it wasn't heavy. And then if this was a movie though, I would say this would probably be an R. Yeah, I would say that the sex scenes would probably be explored and the fighting would probably be heavy.
The cursing would change.
Yeah, the cursing would change to every other word. So yeah, if it was a movie, it would definitely be an R. Fun fact, Jim Parsons from Big Bang bought the rights to make this into a show, and so CW commissioned him to do so. So this was back in 2016. It's now 2018, and you know how production goes. So that might be an interesting thing to see on Channel 11. The odd thing is that CW caters to the YA fiction crowd. Like if you've seen, they have like shows like 100, which is a YA fiction. The Vampire Diaries, which was a YA fiction, things like that, like YA fiction shows.
All those things. I don't even watch it.
I don't watch it either. I ain't got time.
Don't watch
but
it.
This wouldn't be. This is definitely not YA. The youngest person is, I believe, is like 28 around. So this is definitely for grown-ups, for adults. So if you were that generation who watched Gossip Girl, and you know now you're an adult, like I don't have time for Supergirl.
Yeah.
Like I don't have time. I don't have your problems, ma'am. I don't have your problems. No, I didn't go to high school with vampires. I'm sorry. Some of them kind of looked like it, but they just stayed up all night doing things they shouldn't have been doing. So no, I don't have time for this. You know, it might be good for the adult crowd. This might be something that they're advertising, making up for the adult crowd. And this book is not to be confused with the 1967, the Terranauts from then. That's kind of like a horror sci-fi movie, but it's not really horror. It's kind of kitschy. It's like a kitschy sci-fi movie. But yeah, so we like to tell the main players. So Dawn, we're just gonna go by the first names, right?
Yeah, it's easier.
Yeah. So Dawn, she's best friends with Linda, and then there's Ramsey. So these are the three main players. Dawn, Ramsey, Linda. So the book starts off from Dawn's point of view. She's being interviewed. So there's 16 different people, different candidates, who have gone through rigorous tests to be chosen. And out of the 16, only 8 can be chosen for E2. E2 stands for Ecosphere 2. So what's happening is, this is set in 1994, and at the time people believed that due to global warming and human overpopulation that we're going to have to start terraforming Mars. There are going to be in total 97 different ecospheres. So the first E failed because a woman got her finger caught in something, and so they had to close it down. So they're all a part of E2. So Dawn goes in to be interviewed, and she's like with her friend Linda. Linda is Korean American. She's Korean by race or by ethnicity.
I think they understand in part. She's born
because she's Korean. She's like full Korean, but she's born in America. Right. She's not half Korean, half American. So
I don't think they really need much on that. I think it's self-explanatory.
Well, that's a big part of it, though.
But it's self-explanatory.
Yeah. So for Dawn, Dawn is like this strawberry blonde, tall, aesthetically pleasing looking woman, like Hollywood aesthetically pleasing looking woman. Linda, not so much. She's not ugly, but she has Asiatic features. She has dark hair as opposed to Dawn's light hair. She has dark eyes as opposed to Dawn's light eyes. She's shorter. She has a little bit of weight on her. Now, when I say she has weight on her, she is not fat at all. She's not fat. She's like maybe like what, 140?
That's like you insulting me.
No. So what they're looking for, what you find out in the book, is they're looking for people who are not so much talented in the way of science. They can be somewhat talented in the way of science, but they mostly have to be aesthetically pleasing because they're being recorded. So let's just say if there is someone who is 110 pounds for someone who's 5'9", good or bad?
To me, that's bad. You're 5'9", 5'10"? That's bad.
That's really skinny, right?
Yes, too skinny.
Okay, good. Okay, so someone who's like 5'9", 5'10", and 110 pounds.
But that would be considered
would take that
so
person.
Great in the fashion industry.
Exactly. They would take that person.
It's terrible though, because that
over,
person is sick.
Yeah, they take that person over someone who's like maybe 5'1" and 140 pounds. Not because of talent, but because of look. They're like, we can sell this with this statuesque, skinny, pretty faced person as opposed to this shorter, pretty person who's more who's more knowledgeable. And so Dawn gets in, Linda doesn't. Linda's upset, and you know Dawn does her best to comfort her because at the end of the day they're still her friend. Ramsey gets in, but the reason why he gets in, they really didn't want to put him in. Right. He was a part of E1, the failed one. It wasn't his fault it failed, but he was a part of it. The reason why he got in is because he's sleeping with Judy. So Judy is she is the assistant to the head honcho, someone they call GC, or God the Creator. He's a billionaire who's the one who's funding all of this. So he's sleeping with her. Ramsey is sleeping with her, and because of that, she kind of pushes him forward to be able to do it.
That's the industry too?
Yep, that is the industry. And so we hear it from Dawn's perspective, and from Linda's perspective, and from Ramsey's perspective. Now, just to let you know, they have nicknames. That's important if you're going to read this book. So Ramsey's nickname is Vaj, and Dawn's nickname, you come to find, is Eos. Because he keeps saying, like, you know, what E and me came to find later, became sentimental for E and me. And I'm like, who is E? Who is E? Who is E? But yeah, E is Dawn. Her nickname is Eos. So Linda, she feels scorned by all of this, and she feels like her nickname is racist. They wanted to call her Lady Dragon something. Lady Dragon something. I believe it's some kind of racist term from back before our parents were born. Dragon Lady. That's what it was. Dragon Lady. They wanted to call her Dragon Lady. For some reason, that's racist. I'm not 100% sure why it's racist. I think it might be a caricature, like how we know Sambo is a caricature of black people. But maybe another race might not know that. So I think Dragon Lady might be a caricature of perhaps Asian or Chinese people. So she's offended by that. But so they start calling her Komodo, which is just, you know, Komodo dragon. Yeah. So she's offended by that, but she plays along because she really wants to be a part of it, but she doesn't end up getting chosen. Instead, she ends up being E2's staff. So check this out. They get paid $500 a month. A month. A month.
Why you look at me?
Because it's like, dude, being a part of the E2 staff is that they got to work 10 hours a day.
Right.
So they're not actually in the biosphere.
But they're not any place. They're in like a desert.
That's right. They're in Tillman, Arizona.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
For them, that's a lot.
You're right. You're right.
Everything is kind of inaccessible.
And it is 1994, so I guess bread was a penny back then or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
For them, that was.
Yeah. So, what ends up happening is Ramsey's chosen, Dawn is chosen. I'm going to give you some other names, not because they're really relevant, because you're going to hear about them. Yeah. So Gretchen is chosen, Troy is chosen, and Richard is chosen. There's some other people, but those are the ones who are sticking out in my mind. Oh, Diane. Diane is the head of operations, the chief, which I think is interesting. They made a woman the chief of everything in 1994. But, hey, progression. So they all go into the biosphere. I'm not going to bore you with the beginning details of it, just to let you know everyone, you know, feels excited, and then not so much. Can't get a Snickers in there. So, because remember, they can't open up the biosphere at all until the 2 years is over. Ramsey starts having a thing for Dawn, and they end up having sex on the first Christmas of them going in. And Dawn ends up getting pregnant, which is not something that's supposed to happen. In fact, they make sure they mention, like, are you pregnant? Are you sexually active? Do you have any STDs? That was during the interview. Like, you can't be any of these three, because we ain't trying to raise no babies, and we don't got medicine for your syphilis. So you gonna burn by yourself, or you gonna have an outbreak by yourself, because we're not helping you with your herpes. So they tested everybody out. Nobody had anything. Dawn ends up getting pregnant, though, by Ramsey. There is I'm not blaming this on the author. The author did a very good job of showing how superficial these people were. There's a lot of fat shaming her just because she's pregnant. Just because she's pregnant. It's like Judy. She wanted to be funny because she's like all scorned and everything because, Ramsey is with Dawn now, not her. She's like, how does it feel being with a woman who has a tire around her stomach and she keep growing? It's like
jealousy. Exactly.
And he's like, well, accidents happen. She's like, accidents ain't never happened with us. Like, I'm glad that didn't happen. But Ramsey's superficial too. Because when he's in bed with Dawn, not having sex, but when he's laying down in bed with Dawn, he's like, I can't stay in bed with you. It's like laying with a beached whale. Like, everyone is just making fun of her pregnancy. But after she gives birth to the baby, she has like a Mary and Jesus complex, where she's like, you know, my daughter Eve, that's the girl's name, Eve, is the most important part of this whole experiment. And I am the mother of the most important part of this experiment. I'm important. One thing I thought was really weird though, because remember they're in a biosphere, so they're working everything out themselves and not getting food brought in. So while she's pregnant, one way to supplement protein is she's eating monkey chow. That's that in. She's eating the food for the monkeys. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was kind of crazy. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
But I thought that was kind of crazy. And Ramsey isn't too keen on things either, because it's like, what happened?
You made me have a moment for a second.
Well, Ramsey isn't too keen on things either, because when she's about to give birth, she's like, I'm having contractions. Like, why are you telling me for? It's like, bruh, you're the daddy. That's what I'm telling you. Like, who else am I supposed to tell?
Yeah, but he didn't want to be no father.
He didn't. He really said that he didn't want to be a father, but he didn't mind having sex, though. That part was just fine and dandy. Mm-hmm. I wanted to like somebody in this. I really do. You know, I'll get to that at the end. But, so Richard, one of the people who was chosen, he studies up on having a baby, because he's the doctor. And so he ends up delivering her baby. Eve is good. Eve is fine. Oh, and Ramsey and Dawn end up getting married because GC tells him he has to. GC, God the Creator, the billionaire who's backing all this, tells him for PC purposes? Was it P? Yeah. They have to, or PI, public image, whatever purposes, they have to get married. And keep it in mind, they're being recorded. Like, public image, yeah. Their every move is kind of being recorded, aside from, like, you know, their intimate moves are being recorded. So she has the baby. Baby is healthy. And she thinks more of herself than she really should. Things start to pop off in the biosphere, but everybody stays in. When they're about to leave, she's like, bruh. Like, because Ramsey's talking to her, and he's like, so, I gotta figure out how to support a wife and a baby. Like, I gotta find out how to get a real job, because, you know, I haven't been making money for 2 years. Because I'm in a biosphere, so what am I gonna do? And so she's like, bruh, I ain't even leaving though. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm staying here. I'm staying put. Me and my baby ain't going nowhere. And you guys stay here too. He doesn't want to stay. Yeah. He doesn't want to stay there, because that's not real life. That's the biosphere. It's not real life. But he decides he's gonna stay there. He makes an announcement that he's gonna stay there. And so they all have to leave out, right? They all have to leave out to make room for E3. Linda is chosen for E3. Remember Linda Ryu? Well, I didn't say her last name, but Linda. She's chosen for E3. She's best friends with Dawn. Dawn tells her, okay, bruh, sorry, I'm staying. So guess who ain't coming in here? You. I'm surprised that the author was so straightforward about how race plays a role in things, because everyone else in E3 was white, except for Linda Ryu. So they could have been like, okay, well, Patricia, she don't get to go. Linda, you in. Patricia, you stay home. No. They sent everybody else in and said, okay, Linda, we are so sorry with your little chunky Asian self. You guys stay behind, sit down, play on this computer. We'll talk to you later. So it's like, dude, you're a horrible friend. Like, Linda, the only reason Linda didn't get to go was because of Dawn wanting to stay. But I guess in a way it worked. I don't know, because Dawn, she also slept with Dawn's boyfriend, Johnny.
Yes, I'm about to say Jordan.
Yeah, so she also slept with her boyfriend. But I guess it wasn't really her boyfriend anymore, because now she's married to... It's convoluted. It's a reality. Think of it as a reality show. The only way to really enjoy this book is if you sit down and imagine that you're watching the History Channel, and these people are talking to you about what happened in the past. Like, they're sitting in their comfy chairs and they're talking to you about it. Because if you try to see it while it's happening, it's like...
13, right?
Yeah, like Channel 13, like Nova or something.
He did something else.
Not Nova?
No, there's something else that's like it. They took Downton Abbey.
No, like interviews.
No, I mean, they do things like that.
Well, that's what you have to see it as. You can't see it as like you're actually watching this, because then you'll get confused. I really wanted to like somebody. I really did. At the beginning, I liked Dawn because she seemed so genuine, but then I found out that she's selfish. I wanted to like Ramsey, but then, you know, because he's so honest, but then you find out he's honestly a jerk. I wanted to like Linda because she's the only ethnic person there, and it's like,
No,
oh,
the other woman is too.
who's ethnic?
She Asian.
Yeah, Linda's Asian, but then it's like,
And then the other's Korean.
no, she's Korean. She's Asian. Linda is the Korean. Then they try to call her Dragon Lady. So, but then she's
Korean
bitter.
and Asian is not the same. No. Do you know any? I do.
North Korea and South Korea is Asian.
They're not the same.
They're in Asia. They're Asian. They're not the same. They're not the same. I went to school. But this isn't. Then they're confused because they're in that continent. They're in the continent of Asia. So if you're Korean, if you could just leave a note as to whether or not Korea is in the continent of Asia, I believe it is. But
let us know, because there are some things here.
Well, there's North and South, but they're basically the same. They're on the same platform, just divided. But yes, so but she was bitter, but she was bitter for a reason because they were kind of racist towards her. But then she did some like messed up stuff. Like, okay, so you know how. Right, we're running out of time. You know how Dawn and Ramsey were together, like they're married, but then once Ramsey was no longer in the biosphere, he started sleeping with Judy again. So what?
That's why he didn't want to be there in the first place.
He just don't like responsibility. But what Linda did was she took pictures of him and Judy together, and she blew them up, and she was going to show them to Dawn, and she decided against it, but. You know, like, there's some really petty stuff going on. If this, this book is going to be donated, right? Because I don't feel like keeping it. Do you want to keep it?
Why you ask me?
Because if I don't keep it, you keep it. If you don't keep it, we donating it.
By all means, have it. Okay,
so we're going to donate this. This is going to be donated because we have no interest in keeping it. It wasn't a bad book. We just don't want it.
Wow, that sounds terrible.
It's true. It's just like that. It's like a boyfriend that wasn't bad, just not for you. Like, sorry, dude.
Only your language.
So, yes, we're not keeping it. Cover is very nice. Nice cover. Simple, but good. I saw the German version of it, which is interesting, but weird. So it was like an astronaut walking in grass. I don't know. And then this is the author. Really, I don't have much. Oh, if it was a movie, it's just too many people to think of who would play who.
It was already rated R.
Yeah, so it wouldn't even matter. Did you have anything else you want to say about it?
I barely said anything.
I'm sorry. Your turn.
No, I don't have anything to say.
Oh, she was not pleased. She was not pleased.
It's not that I'm not pleased.
So just to let you guys know, I've been the one buying the books.
Yes,
so
she has.
I bought like a whole bunch of books. So
and then we go over this book together.
Yeah. So if the book choice is poor, I raise my hand to that.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do is
because as you see, I say no to certain things, and I'm forced when it comes down to some of them.
I'm a sucker for a pretty cover and a good like backstory. I don't know. That always gets me. Ooh, pretty cover. Ooh, nice backstory.
See, some things can sit. Just because it's there doesn't mean it's the best.
So she's going to start picking out some books. And we're going to start going from her. Because we still have the Barnes & Noble membership. It's under your name.
I know. They actually sent me a...
Is my number your name?
What do you call it?
A card?
I renewed my number on it.
No, remember the one that we got together? I don't know about that one that you have.
But I got one with my number.
That must be an old one. Because I renewed the one under my number, but your name. Anyway, so she's gonna be the one getting books, and
we're gonna 20% off in a coupon over there.
Oh, cool!
2 of them.
So we're gonna go get some more books. We have more books on the way, and we thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe.
She talks a lot, don't she? I be going to sleep. Don't you think?